Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the BMW M2, this time at Canadian Motorsport Park for yet another track guide. Now this is the open setup for the production car series and the production car endurance, and it's not me behind the wheel, it's Gianni Lutzu. He's a real life racing driver, he's 10,500 iRating, and he's a full-time driver coach. So if you want to improve, you can check out the link in the description for Lutzu Driver Performance. Also, this is our own curated setup, so if you want to race this exact setup, we do now have a Patreon page where you can purchase each setup individually, or you can join on the membership and you get access to everything that we produce. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and let's start the Hotlap. There he is, smashing it over the start-finish line, gets to the mud bit, brakes up to about 25-30%, down to fourth gear, back on the gas, going to exit nice and wide. Heads over to the right-hand side. Now on the brakes up to about 25%. Long on the brakes, but not hard at all. Back in fourth gear, over to the left-hand side. Now as we get to the ad holding on the left-hand side, brakes up to about 55%. Relatively short-ish trail off this time. And smoothly back on the gas in fourth gear. No matching of the pedals from Gianni. Now as we go under Continental Bridge, we're going to do a lift lightly on the brakes. Now back on the gas in fifth gear. Into the dip, we brake up to about 70%, and it's a really long trail off this time. Down to third gear, back on the gas ahead of the apex, exits nice and wide, and now goes back up the hill and through the gears. Just a reminder that the setup you can race from this available on the Patreon, and it does include wet, race and quali, and the endurance setup. Right, now on the brakes up to about 45%, long trail off again, keeping it in fourth gear, back on the gas. Now as we come to this turn, light dab on the brakes, down to third gear, back over to the left hand side, little dab on the brakes once more, just kisses that apex on the gas, and over and across the line he goes in a 1:26.7. Right, got the breakdown lap coming up next. Okay, breakdown lap. So, first of all, we're looking for this patch of mud on the left-hand side. So you can see it's grass, and then there's a patch of mud. As we get there, he goes on the brakes up to about 30%. Long trail off, back on the gas in fourth gear. Just going to see it exit nice and wide if you got on the gas early enough. Now, once we get to the top of this rise and we can see the bottom of the legs of that little pagoda there, or that little marshal's hut with the blue roof, that's when we do a lift. We get on the brakes up to about 30%, and now we're holding, long trail off down to fourth gear. Basically, as soon as we are now pointing at the next marshal's hut, the blue one up ahead, and you've got that big patch of mud on your right-hand side, that's when we can get back on the gas. Cut it back over to the left-hand side, still going to push you out. Now we're looking at this billboard on the left-hand side. As soon as we're going past that, that's when we are going to get on the brakes, briefly up to about 55%, relatively sharp trail off, and then we start getting back on the gas just as we're hitting the apex. But we can't mash our pedal. We only get up to full power here, as you can see by the telemetry graph. By the way, one of the best things I ever did was start using live telemetry whilst I was driving. I know some people say it's useless, but it's not. It really lets you see what you're actually doing with your pedals. Now, as we get to the top of the hill here, we're going to do a big lift, and he's lightly resting his big toe on the brakes there, just holding it at around 7% before then getting back on the gas. Now we're going to brake as we come into this big dip, and he's going to get on the brakes as hard as he's going to brake on this track, up to about 65-70%, but it's a long trail off down to third gear. You want to get all the way over to the left-hand side. As we do the final bit of turning in, now we're getting back on the gas just ahead of the apex. Now he gets up to 100%. This bit doesn't need me to talk you through. Right, final couple of corners. We're going to go over to the left-hand side before we go into turn 8, the S's. And what we're looking for, again, we've got this Marshall's hut coming up. We've got this wall alongside, and there. This is what you should be looking at. So there's nothing specific that screams out at you. You just sort of get a feel for it. But this is where we're going to start the braking. We brake up to about 45%, long trail off. And then we want to get back on the gas once we are pointed at this rumble strip or this curbing on the right-hand side. but we don't go up to full power until we're clearing it and we're over on the right hand side. And then as soon as we're alongside this grass bit, that's when he goes on the brakes up to about 40%, trail it off down to third, back on the gas bit. You've got to hold it tight over to the left hand side to open up the final corner. And then just as we get alongside these Audi signs on the left hand side, gets on the brakes up to about 28%, trails it off sharply, and then back on the gas in third gear. It's going to have you exit wide, a little bit slidey on exit, and over and across the line he goes. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.